Good day, everybody. How are we all? I'm not sure if I'm going to get many people in here because, once again, I didn't do the notification thing, and I've got to start doing that so that way people can get notified when I go live instead of just accidentally coming across it. Anyway, I've watched this documentary, they call it, on YouTube, and it's called What's. But I want to talk a little bit about what I've watched so far, but I'll wait till some people come in before I do. But I just wanted to catch up with everybody, like I said, see how everybody is, see if everyone's okay, everyone's keeping healthy, wealthy, and wise and stuff, and to talk about a few things I would like to start talking about here on my channel. I would like to start talking about mental health. I would like to start talking about what you guys, which I've always said, what you guys want to talk about. A true crime I would like to start investigating, in all honesty, it would be the death of Bob Crane. Now, he was in the TV show Hogan's Heroes. I don't know much about his acting career. So hello to that one person who's listening. Hello. Um, so I can't say much about him as a person in the acting side of things, but I found his death very, very strange because it's happened. It happened a number of years ago and it still has not been solved. Now, I find it very strange how many cases are out there that are, as they call them, cold cases, and how many of them have been solved and how many of them have not been solved. Hello to that other person who's listening. Please spread the word that I'm live so people know. Cool. If you can. And also don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you want to. No pressure. But yeah, so I want to talk about the Bob Crane murder. I want to be able to talk about the JonBenét case in more detail. I want to talk about a lot of cases that are coming in my mind, and I'm doing a lot of like research as much as I can. It's very difficult, so I'm doing a lot of listening to things that I'm trying to talk about. But yeah, I just want to be able to give you guys what you want. And like I said in my last two lives, when I was talking about the justice system, I apologize if I got it wrong by saying that people in jail have this and that they have that, or prison. I apologize if I offended anybody with that. But over here, like, you get a lot of privileges. Like I said, you're able to get like diplomas, you're able to get degrees and all that kind of crap and stuff like that in jail. It might not be all the prisons that do that, but there are a lot that do. So I apologize if I offended anybody in my previous life at all. It's not my intention. But if I did, I stand here. Well, I'm laying down because I got a headache, but I stand here and say I apologise for that. There's a lot of things going on. Like I said, there are a lot of bad things going on. Like I found out early hours of this morning, courtesy of my brother, we lost TV personality Jerry Springer. He had he was diagnosed with cancer, and apparently it was a very short battle. And he will be missed. He helped Steve Wilkos, and I absolutely adore Steve Wilkos. He's cool. And my thoughts and prayers are with the Springer family in this time. I am very sorry for your loss. Not that you'll probably ever hear this, but to anyone who knew Jerry Springer, my thoughts and prayers are with you all. Mwah. Now, like I said, like I was saying before I mentioned it, or that about him, it's funny how there are so many cases out there that are like cold cases, and they're like 30, 40, 50, even 50, 60 years being called for, and they're being solved. So it makes me wonder, how is it that there are some cases that, the evidence that they had, like all the DNA that back in the 20s or back in the 30s or even the 40s, 50s, 60s or so, they didn't even think of DNA, you know what I mean? Like they didn't think to collect certain things, and they did, and they're still able to collect those things and get them retested, and then they do that. Now, this is just my opinion. I think from here on out, what they need to start considering to do is they might do this in parts of the world. So please, in the comments below, please be polite and kind, and tell me if I'm wrong or right. It would be great. But I reckon they need to start putting fingerprints on driver's licenses and credit cards and all that kind of stuff, because there is so much fraud going on in the world. There is so much people, stealing people's bank cards, people kidnapping children and even young adults, even adults themselves. And I think that they need to start being more thorough with what they do. So there are 3 people listening, and I don't know who you are, but hello, 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 hello. I think that they need to start doing something in regards to that, because at the moment they're not catching enough of these criminals who are kidnapping children, putting them in a car and driving away. So what I'm saying is if their thumbprint or their pointer finger or whatever, okay, or even maybe their handprint, but just shrunk down and put on the back of some licenses, that would be awesome, because then that would cover like all the fingers on whatever is your prominent hand. They can put that on a scanner, because they're inventing things every day. So why not invent this? A thing that can scan that, put that in there and all that sort of stuff. And what you can do with that is that you get the history of what cars they've owned in, say, the last 5 years, or in the time that they've had a car for. You get their car history and that registration. And it probably sounds stupid, but at the same time, if a case goes unsolved and say for 20 years, that person could have, say, 5 cars in that span and not even think of connecting it to them, because there's no evidence, because the car they're driving doesn't match the DNA or doesn't match the description. But I think that is what needs to change, is that they need to change the laws about, having a handprint, thumbprint, whatever, on the back of every single person out there who has a driver's license, every single person out there who has a credit card or a debit card that is a, Visa debit, MasterCard debit, whatever it may be, needs to have a thumbprint of some sort. So that way when you scan it, you can also have the reading that, yes, this is the person that is doing this, and have photo IDs on all credit cards and stuff, so they can look at it and go, okay, the thumbprint matches, the picture matches the person. Yep, awesome, done. They need to get rid of PayWave, because that, like, you think about it, PayWave is just like saying, hey, guess what? I have your credit card. Now I'm going to go bring it up into X amount. But, it's just, I don't think PayWave, yes, sometimes it makes it faster going through a checkout, but it doesn't make it fair for the people who are getting their purses, wallets, whatever stolen, to make sure that, money that they work their fucking tails off for, to be able to have that money. People out there who don't want to work, people who don't live in Australia and get a government payment and all that kind of crap, you know what I mean? Like, they rely on that money to survive, and there's people out there who think that they somehow deserve more. But that's just my opinion, and I'm sorry again if that has offended anybody, but the government needs to, in all parts of the world, the government needs to start protecting people more. There was a case, I can't remember how long ago it was, this car was seen in different parts of Australia, and these people were kidnapping, or not kidnapping, I should say, holding up people at knife point, until one time they kidnapped a 12-year-old girl, and she was brutally murdered and SA'd. And for those who are listening and don't know what SA is, I will say it only once. SA means sexual assault. So I'd rather just say SA than say those. So if there's any triggers out there, I do apologise for that. But she was. And it took a while to capture the people, because the fact that, they got a description of the car, but people that were held up at knife point got the number plate wrong. And I think that's really, 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 really sad that, these people, husband and wife team, by the way, went on to kill an innocent 12-year-old girl. And in the meantime, they're holding people up at knife point. It's just fucking ridiculous. So, yeah, that's pretty sad. And even though it happened quite a few years back, my thoughts and prayers are with that family still to this day, you know. So it's just until you've been, like, I've never been through the death of someone that was murdered. So I'm sorry if this makes me sound like a bitch. I'm very lucky in that sense. I've never been involved in anyone around me who's been involved in a homicide. So I'm very lucky. But at the end of the day, for those who have endured a loss due to somebody being murdered, I think it's absolutely disgusting that there are people out there to this day still walking the streets and getting more and more cockier, thinking that, this is another day I'm free. This is another month, week. This is another month. Oh, look at this. It's another year. I'm out on the streets and I'm able to do this again and again and again. For me, it's disgusting. And I'm not saying bring back the death penalty, but I'm saying with what they're allowed to do in jail, prison, take your pick, whatever you want to call it, I don't think they should have any privileges whatsoever to be able to get anything to, they should be able to do things that are going to help them in a sense for their mental health, yes, to help them, be better than they were when they went in, by all means. But the thing is, though, is the fact that there are people out there, such as myself, who are struggling to be able to pay for a course to get a degree in something so you can hopefully put that towards, say, a job opportunity where there's people in prison that get those things and they can do those things and they can study and they can get those degrees, and not that it's going to help them if they're in jail for the rest of their lives, but they're able to do that sort of thing. Hey, Aussie True Crime, how you doing, sweetheart? I messaged you back when you messaged me. Thank you so much for that. So I think personally, like I said, thumbprints on all driver's licenses, and then that thumbprint, it gives you even it's probably going to sound stupid, but at the end of the day, it should give, like I said, vehicle history and residential history. And I'm sure that if, most cops, not all, because there are some out there who don't care, there are people out there, they can read it and go, okay, and it will say actually what dates they lived in those residents and stuff. So if they suspect that person, all they have to do is put their driver's license on a machine, let that machine scan it, and then that machine will come up with all their information of like where they've lived. And then they can look at this person and go, okay, this person lived in, trying to think of a place that's not real, Hulu Island. We'll just say that, Hulu Island. I'm sorry if there is an island called this. They lived there and in this area, and this girl went missing, or this boy went missing from this area at the time they were living in this zone. Yes, it's going to take a lot of work to be able to try and do something like that. But at the same time, if it's going to stop trafficking, it's going to stop child abduction, any kind of abduction, it's going to stop all that sort of stuff, then hey, isn't it worth it? Because, it's just ridiculous how people are getting away with things these days. Like Casey Anthony, I was looking into that the other day, and I find that case completely fucked. And I can't put it any other way, and I'm sorry. Okay, messed up for those in the back who don't like swearing. That case shook me to the core, and I can understand why there are a lot of people saying I should look into it. I'm glad I looked into it after she was acquitted. Not that she was acquitted. I'm not glad about that. She should be in jail. But in saying that, I think that it's really sad that her little girl had to die because her mother wanted her life back. I'm sure your parents would have been happy to look after her if you wanted to go out for a night on the town. But the thing is, though, that wouldn't have been possible because Casey accused her father of interfering with her and interfering with Kaylee, sorry. So don't know the whole story there. I'm still looking into that as well. But it just makes me sad that there are innocent children out there who they don't ask to be born. They don't ask to be loved. They don't ask to be protected. It's just something like, I'm not a parent, so if I'm out of line saying this, but I think that when you become a parent, It's when you take a step outside of your own self and realize, hang on a second, there's someone else in this world who needs me to love, protect, and look after them and keep them safe and make sure they're fed, they're clothed, they've got a warm bed. Hey, Bubsy, how you doing, sweetheart? I'm just looking at all of it and thinking to myself that there are so many children and so many parents, or not parents, but people out there who cannot have children. Like, it's devastating with how many people out there can't. And those same people can't afford IVF. They can't afford a surrogate. They can't afford all that kind of bells and whistles and stuff. And yet there are people out there who are having children only to turn around eventually and annihilate them. Like, what's your point of having a child? I think personally that anyone out there, and this is going to make me sound so bad, but stick with me. I'm making a good point, I hope. If you are out there and you're going to have a child and then that child ends up deceased because of something you've done to put that child in that kind of danger, I personally think you should have a vasectomy. If you're a guy, you should have the snip so you can't produce more children. And if you're a woman, you should have your tubes tied. I don't think it's right to allow these women and men out there who are killing innocent children who don't deserve to die. They deserve to be protected. Why should they go on after, say, serving, like over here in Australia, you kill someone, you're in jail for 20 years, unless it's really, really, really horrific, and then you get told on your file never to be released. So, But in saying that, though, you can still hook up with one of the security guards, one of the police people there, because there are some corrupt cops out there who love sleeping with prisoners. You can end up pregnant. You can have another child. What's to stop you from when you get out of jail? If you do get out of jail, what's to stop you from hurting that child? I don't think that there should be. Thank you, Bubsy. I don't think that people out there who harm a child should be able to have more children, whether they annihilate them. I'm trying to think of non-triggering words. End them, so to speak, should be able to go on and have more children of any kind, or not be allowed to be around children at all. Like Casey Anthony, I don't know if she's ever had another child. Honestly, I don't care. She's a despicable person. Her parents stood by her and were doing everything they could to try and bring Casey home. And it turns out she knew all along where Casey was. Not Casey, sorry, Kaylee. I hope that's her name. I hope I'm getting that right. Casey was the mum and Kaylee was the daughter. I'm really hoping I'm right there. But like I said, I just think it's disgusting how there are people out there who allow their children to be beaten up by a spouse or by a boyfriend, a spouse, boyfriend, husband, or anything like that. And they have those people around their children knowing full well that this person's a drug addict. This person is a fucking criminal. Or this person has hurt their own children and that's why they're not allowed around them. But by all means, bring them around your children or your child, because that makes sense. Not. I just get very, very angry. Okay. Thanks, Bubsy. But like I said, it's the Casey. Hang on. Yes, I still don't understand how. Okay, now I might be wrong. I might have misheard, because a lot of people I listen to on YouTube, like I love listening to Kendall Ray. Absolutely fucking love that woman and her partner, Josh. They're amazing. If I could ever have them on my channel, I would be amazed. But what I'm saying is the fact that I look about, I think it was Kendall that said it, that they had over 700 pieces of evidence, right? But the thing is, though, is that none of it mattered, because Casey decided to tell the court that her father interfered with her, and he came up to her with Kaylee in his arms, and she was all limp and she was all wet. So she got away with it because her father supposedly interfered with her. He denies that. Like, I'm not saying he did it. So do not think that of saying that at all. But what kind of man is going to say, yes, Casey's right. I did touch her when she was 8 years old. No one, and I mean no one, is going to admit to that. I don't know a single person who would openly admit that they touched a child inappropriately. Yeah, exactly. If anyone ever heard, like I said, I don't have children, but I'm very, very protective of children's rights because I don't see a child should ever be scared into silence if something has happened to them. If something like, for example, when I was a kid and, in primary school, I can't remember well, I've only got Australians in here at the moment, so I can say primary school. It came down to the fact that I used to always freak out when I would see a little child in like year 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 reception. If I saw that, I would always, being in year 7, feeling like, ooh, ooh, I'm better than you. I'm in higher grade. I used to always feel protective of the other kids in the school. And it was hard because, when you're a kid, you can't stand up to adults. I remember when I was in a supermarket once and I was in a real bad mood that day. And those who know me know I get in bad moods a lot. But at this particular day, there was this woman. Her son wanted something to eat, and the mum's standing there like eating a packet of chips, scoffing him. And then he asked for some, and she just goes, "Fine." She grabs a handful, and instead of just placing it in his hand so he could pick at them as he wanted them, she shoved them in his mouth. And now I found that disgusting, and I actually reported that to the shop security to keep an eye on her just in case she does something else to hurt her child. Um, and I know that wasn't probably the best thing to do, but when I see things like that, I'm also thinking, what are you like when your child is hungry at the dinner table and you're eating something that your son wants to try? Like my mum is a massive, massive seafood fanatic. She loves seafood. And but she doesn't like baby octopus. Like, what the hell? I love that shit. But anyway, moving on. The thing is though, I remember when my dad was alive, he would cook the most amazing seafood. Like he could cook the perfect piece of fish, but yet he couldn't cook pizza because he would always burn the bottom. But anyway, my point being is that when I first tried a prawn, my mum had the mono plate and I wanted to try one. And my mum gave me one, but then what she did is she cut it and let me try a bit before giving me the whole thing to try. She gave me like the tail wasn't on the prawn, but she put the prawn there. She gave me the head part, which is like the fat bit at the top, and let me try that. And I liked it. And then she gave me the rest of it. And my mum, like I said, when it comes to seafood, I would never take my mum to Barnacle Bills. I love it a bit, but she will, oh my God. Like when I've taken her to Barnacle Bills, I've actually said, "Hey, look," and she looks, and then I quickly grab a scallop off her plate and shove it in my mouth. Not a good idea because when you bite into scallops here at Barnacle Bills in Adelaide, yeah, there's like this watery shit that bursts into your mouth, and it's like, oh fuck, yeah. But yeah, hang on, what's this? Sorry, hang on. I'm sorry that you went through that. Obviously, I think you've told me a little bit about your story, honey, and I'm sorry. I don't understand why parents are like that. I don't understand why people are like that. Like it doesn't make a speck of sense. There are people out there, like I said, there are people out there who can't have children and would give anything for a child. And yet there are people out there that are so fertile that they have kids for the money side of things. And there are people out there who don't deserve them. And for every single parent out there, and I mean this nicely as I can, and I don't mean any judgment when I say this, so please keep in mind, open mind. For every single parent out there that has a child with special needs, whether it's autism, whether it's Asperger's, whether it's an actual disability, such as, like they can't walk, they can't talk, and all of that sort of stuff, and you still have that child in your care for what it's, so that doesn't sound, when I say that, because some people just don't want to deal with it. But for those who do deal with it on a day in, day out basis, I admire you all. You are all absolutely amazing, amazing parents. I look at some people who, if their kid's annoying them, they just go, no. You know what I mean? They get pissed off, and then that kid, like most kids these days, I know, pick up on tension. You know, I could always pick up when my mum didn't want to talk to me because she doesn't answer her phone. But before that, you know, it's very, very hard to raise a child with autism. My eldest nephew is autistic, and he's in his 20s now. And I don't see him, unfortunately. But the thing is, though, I've always admired my sister for, you know, she was a teenage mum. She had him when she was 16, and she raised that child on her own. You know what I mean? And she fought and she fought and she fought and she fought until she got the diagnosis that she wasn't necessarily after one, but the one thing that she was saying is my son autistic, and people would be saying to her, no, 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 until one day she just had enough, and she goes, you are going to give him every test you can and then come back to me. And then I sat there and I gave him daggers, and sure enough, not that my daggers would have done any good, but they got back to her when he was in his teens that he was autistic. You know what I mean? So they fucked up. But for the parents who raise a child from a very young age, regardless of what their disability is and how they're able to do that, I just want to say from my heart to yours, thank you. And thank you for not losing your temper with your children. You might lose your cool because that's going to happen no matter what. Even if your child doesn't have a disability, you're bound to lose your fucking marbles at times with your kids. But for those who have never, ever struck your child because of something they've done, thank you. Like I said, from my heart to yours, thank you for that. You know, thanks, Bubsy. But like I said, okay, now that I can't even read today. I have, give me one sec. I've got to make sure I'm reading this right because I don't want to, oh my. Okay, I have 6 people in here. Okay. Hey, Ozzy, are you busy at this very moment, sweetheart? Because I want you to pop up here so then I could get your opinion on it too. But I need to know if you're free for like 5 minutes just to pop up here. If you are, oh shit, wrong thing to push. If you are free, can you just pop up here for like a few minutes? You don't have to. But oopsies, I can't even figure out what I'm fucking doing. Here we go. If you can, it's about the Chris Watts thing. I want your opinion on it if it's okay. Because like I said, I'm having a little bit of difficulty reading chat. And Bubsy, you're welcome to come up here too if you don't want to be in chat on your own. Oh, you're at the school? Oh, okay. No, that's all right. Well, the link's there. I'm still live when you come back. But like I said, I just think that there are a lot of, if anyone wants to pop up, the link's there. Anyone at all is welcome. But if it's someone I don't like, you won't be welcome. No worries, Bubsy. It's all good though. But like I said, it confuses me how there are people out there who can hurt another human. You know, like I personally could never pick up a knife and plunge it into someone. The only time I've ever held it, hang on. That's all right, sweetheart. That's okay. Okay, I'll ask, no, I'll wait till I watch the whole documentary and then I'll bring it up if you do another What's Wednesday or I can't think of the word. I don't know, but I'll think of something. But like I said, I'll let you know anyway, somehow. Anyway. But no, like I said, it's just thank you to everybody that, like I said, you put up with my crap over the years since having a channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But like I said, it's just really, it breaks my heart when I hear about a child going missing and all that sort of stuff. Like I didn't want to touch on the Summer Wells case because for me, it was just, like with the JonBenét case, as much as it sounds bad, the reason I'm okay to talk about that is because, as well, it sounds weird because I don't want to touch Summer Wells's case, because a lot of my friends who have YouTube channels have touched on the Summer Wells case, and I see it as that I'll leave that to them. Me, on the other hand, when I talk about JonBenét, I see it as that, there's more fucked up shit with that case because it's been over 20 plus years and it's yet to be solved. Whereas Casey, I've got her on my bloody mind. With Summer Wells, yes, that case is completely fucked up. There's not, sorry, Ozzy, let me know when your granddaughter's in the car, so then I'll cut back on the swearing, hun. All right. I just think that case is also effed up because of the fact that there are people out there who know what happened to Summer. People know what happened to her. People either have her and she's still alive, or she's been killed and she's been placed somewhere where they haven't looked yet, obviously. But I've got a feeling she's not out in the open. She's not where if you walk past, blonde hair, there she is. She's not, I don't think it's a situation like that. I think she is buried somewhere where no one's going to find her if she has passed, or if she's alive, she was given. Oh, you got your AirPods in? Awesome. You know what I mean? So I know that's probably like, double Toronja, but like Tarant, whatever the word is. It's like you want to believe when kids go missing, you want to believe with all your heart that they're alive. You want to, and you want to believe that. But with the JonBenét case in comparison to the Summer Wells case, is that JonBenét was found murdered in her own family home, where she was supposed to feel safe and protected and, and all that kind of stuff. And she wasn't. And the thing is, though, I personally believe, another personal opinion when it comes to JonBenét case, I think that whoever killed JonBenét killed her after the ransom note was written, because I believe they were going to take her and, put her somewhere for ransom. But at the end of the day, why ask for such a small, dismal amount, considering that the Ramseys were millionaires, So, I love when people agree with me. You don't have to agree with me, Bubsy. If you disagree, it's fine, doll. But like I said, I just think when, like I said, I think the ransom note was written after, and I love how they say that the note was written in the home. Not necessarily. Okay, we didn't see photos of the house or the kitchen area or wherever the ransom note was left. We didn't see a photo of days prior where that black marker was missing. They could have easily gone and taken that notepad out of the house and then brought the note there and placed it there, because people always suspect, because it was written on Patsy's notepad, Patsy wrote it. Well, wouldn't surprise me if she did. But the thing is, and it was written by one of Patsy's markers, and it was written in the house. Who has that long to spend in a house to write a 2.5 page ransom note? Well, nobody does. But my theory is that the letter was brought from wherever the person who killed JonBenét came from. I think it was written prior to JonBenét's murder. Okay, so when I say prior, it could be like a day or two beforehand. You got to remember though that Patsy used to open up. Oh, thanks, Bubsy. Patsy had actually opened up her home for total strangers, right, to walk through that house, because that's what they did in Denver, Colorado back in the day. They used to open up their homes for Christmas tours, for people to go look at how the rich and the wealthy, it's rich and wealthy are the same thing, Tammy, but how they live and how they decorate their homes at Christmas time. So what was to stop someone going in there? And I'm pretty sure that you can pinch a notepad and you can replace it with one that almost looks the same. And then when you go back that day, you could have the note there on the notepad still, rip off the sheets of paper, put them on there, put the pen back. No one, I'm sorry, but for me, when I used to do a lot of writing of poetry, I used to write stories, I used to write letters when I could, and all that sort of shit. So I'd have a number of pens, okay? and a number of notepads, number of notebooks, you name it. I had all that sort of shit. The point being, though, is that do you honestly think that when Patsy was in the midst of Christmas and all that sort of shit, she went into the kitchen and go, "Oh, damn, a notepad's missing, John. John, a notepad and pen are missing." Do you honestly think she gave a shit? Do you think she even fucking noticed? Like, seriously, fuck me dead. Oh, there you go, Bubsy. We disagree on something, honey. They say that she. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I just got a message. Um. I just heard back from a very dear friend. She's back from holidays, so I'm glad she's safe. But no, but like I said, it comes down to that. Yeah, well, it's okay. This is the way I perceive it as is the fact that if I could look at this case, as in the John Bonet case, with any case, if I could look at it objectively without paying attention to anything I've heard beforehand, then by all means, yes, I probably would agree with you. But because, as we all know, the press, the paparazzi, the newspapers, the magazines, the what do you call it? The news people, the reporters and all that kind of crap. They have a way of making people believe what they want them to believe. You know what I mean? Like, it would be nice if like I said, if I could find a documentary on John Bonet where it doesn't have any outside opinion from the press of any kind, which means, like I said, newspaper, magazines, news on TV when they're broadcasting the news. If I could find a documentary where they don't have any outsiders giving their 10 cents worth towards it, then by all means, I'll be more than happy to reevaluate my opinion. I'll be more than happy to do that. So if anyone who is in here who is friends with me on Facebook that knows of a documentary out there, please, please, please send it to me. Okay, because I'll be very interested to be able to see a documentary that's based on what the detectives found, what they found when they found the evidence and all that sort of stuff. I would absolutely love to be able to find that, a documentary like that. Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. Thanks, Bubsy. You're a legend. But like I said, and okay, I'll bring it up now because I don't think I'm going to remember if I don't. In the opening sequence of this I'll talk about What's Now, so if you don't like it, sorry, but this is only one thing I want to point out. They were talking to him, and this is part that I haven't actually seen before, when they're giving him the interview with the body cam, and they were saying, "Oh, what kind of stuff did you put in the back of your truck?" He mentions his water bottle, he mentions his tools, but then he actually specifically mentions, which is really funny, he goes, "Oh, and my wrench." Now, I found that very, very strange because why would you be so about it? Wouldn't wrench be considered part of your tools? But the way he goes, "Oh, and my wrench," like he's actually more forceful when he mentions that, "Oh, and his wrench." And you've got to remember, Troy McCoy, as I call him, Troy the Toy, he was at Survey trying to find his wrench. But yet Chris was saying that he was packing that. And like I said, he said his tools, his drink bottle, and all that kind of crap. But then he pointed out that he was also packing his wrench. Now, why is it he was very eager to mention that particular tool individually from all the other tools? Like he might have mentioned spanners and stuff. I've got to rewatch the documentary for the bit I've seen. But he was talking about it, but he was like really kind of like abrupt when he mentioned the wrench. Now I'm starting to think, why was he so specific by going, "Oh, my drink bottle, my laptop bag, this, but this, oh, and my wrench." And that's how he was. And I found that very, very strange, but it might just be me. Okay, well, when you find it, please send it to me. And if you only remember the title of it and you can't find it, that's cool. Just send me the title if you can. Bubsy, that would be awesome. But that's what I wanted to say about the Chris Watts part. That's all I really wanted to just get Ozzy's opinion and what she thought. But if she's seen it, because if she hasn't, I'll send it to her, and if she wants to discuss it at some point. But it's just called Watts. So I found it from what I've seen so far, it's very interesting, but I just don't like the fact that there's a lot of reading in between scenes. I don't like that because I can't fucking read it. But yeah, I just think, like I said, back to what I was saying about the children being, yeah, children need to be protected. If we want a better world, then we need to stop taking away the innocence that is actually going to potentially give us that, different world. Stop robbing us of children that could potentially make our lives better in the future. Give them a chance to live. You, as their parent, are supposed to protect them. Just because you brought them into the world, that doesn't mean you have the right to take them out of it. None whatsoever. It blows my mind how some parents can do that sort of shit. I don't understand how they think it's it's okay to do. But like I said, just because you bring your child into the world, that doesn't mean you have the right. You have the right to do what you want when it comes to a child. You can choose. If you don't want your child, then don't have it. Put it up for adoption. If your child is conceived by not very good circumstances, then by all means do what you need to do. But don't make your child be the one that has to pay the price because you decide after 3 or 2 years you don't want to be a parent anymore. You know what I mean? If you don't want to be a parent anymore, then put your child up for adoption. Don't cause everyone who grows to love that child misery. Got a large chair. Sorry, I just highlighted. I didn't mean to. Sorry. I might. You see, I'd love to. Okay. Is what is? Okay, I won't look into that just yet, but I will. Hey, Bubsy, if you have these ideas, honey, just feel free to message them to me on Messenger because then I can highlight it and then I can put it into the YouTube search and create a playlist and listen to it and stuff. So, because I can't read things really good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, lady, I've got to go to the loo, so please stick around. And while I'm gone, please spread the word and that I'm live to anyone who will listen to have people come in. But I will be. Hello, Nikki Rex. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time, honey. I'll be back in just a moment. Like I said, I've just got to go to the loo, so stay tuned and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Like I said, if you don't want children, don't have them. And here's just an idea for all the women out there who are thinking of having children and then disposing of them. Have your partner wear a condom. It's amazing. You know what I mean? Or put yourself on the fucking pill. Get the implant on, which is a rod in your arm that stops you from getting pregnant. Get the Marina thing up in you. Get the fucking injection. Do something, but don't bring a child into this world if you even think for a little second that they're going to be an inconvenience and stop you having a life that you think you deserve, because you'll end up in jail. Not everyone is lucky as Casey Anthony. who gets away with it. But yes, Nikki Rex, how have you been? I haven't seen you in forever, doll. How you been? So there's 2 women talking, and to the 5 people who aren't talking, hello. And I'm assuming that Aussie True Crime's still driving, so that's all good. So for the 5 people who are not, 5 people who are not talking, I hope that this is entertaining for you, so to speak. Not entertaining as that you want to laugh, but entertaining as in interesting. I know. I pee very quickly. I don't want to leave quiet air because no one could come up here and cover for me. I don't like peeing. I pee quickly when I know I'm live. I have to. But yeah. Okay, here's a question. Not okay, keep in mind I'm not talking about current cases. What is one case that you would really, really like to see solved? Oh, Jesus Christ. Really, Bubsy? Oh, I've been needing to pee for quite a while today, so, that's probably why I was quick. But yeah, no, it's just sad. Yeah, I agree, Bubsy. I don't think the Summer Wells case is going to be ever solved. I think the Summer Wells case, Madeleine McCann, and the John Bonet case, they're 3 cases that, unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever have a resolution. And it breaks my heart to know that there are 3 little girls out there who the people that took them and hurt them, if that's what's happened to Summer and what's her name, Madeleine McCann. Yeah. So the people that ever hurt them are fucking feeling guilty every single fucking day of their lives for eternity. Yeah. Well, I hate to do this. I am going to head off. And I'll continue listening to that What's Case. Bubsy, if you want to talk, feel free. Oh, hang on. Yes, too much underground stuff going on for it to actually ever be any of those kind of cases to be solved. I just hope they get solved sooner rather than later. But I do have to call it because I do have to consume the last few hours I have on here to try and do a live over the weekend. And I mean, I will try my best to. But I hope everyone that has tuned in the background and participated in chat, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to help me get, and I say this on every live, but hey, people don't read the description. I'm trying to get myself a Samsung tablet. So if you can help me get a modern one that my phone is able to link to, I can actually do more research and actually then share my screen with things that I've seen and heard, and I can show things, figure out how to do that, and then it's all good. But I can't do that while I'm just on my mobile phone. So if you can help me, my PayPal link is in the description. If not, it is completely fine, but just know every bit of help helps. To the person who donated the other night, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But like I said, it's entirely up to you, whatever you decide to do. If you do decide to donate, thank you in advance. If you don't decide to, then that's your choice. That is not mine to badger you and beg and plead, because I'm done with all that shit. It's just the fact that I can't afford to rent one, and by the time I rent one, I'll be paying 3 times the amount that it's worth. And I refuse to do that. Sorry, because I can't afford it, and it's a waste of money. So if you can help, please drop the link is in the description. Please, if you know anybody who else can help that doesn't know who I am, give me a good word and they want to donate, just let them know where my PayPal link is if they want to. Again, no pressure. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, Bubsy, if you want to give me a call, feel free, but do it in about 20 minutes if that's okay, if you're going to. All of you take care of yourself, and just remember, crime doesn't pay. If you want children, remember to nurture them, love them, and tell them every day that you love them, because you never know what the next day is going to hold. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye.